Welcome to What in the Smut podcast.
Where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
And I'm Kay. So what do we have going on in the Smutverse this week?
OpenAI announced updates to ChatGPT to allow adults to use it to generate erotic content. A desperate ploy for revenue as the company continues to deny that AI is a bubble. However, this news led to the greatest clip that this podcast has ever seen. Stephen Colbert on The Late Show crying, "No, why do we need a robot to create our erotica? There are thousands upon thousands of randy humans writing the best smut you've ever seen." He went on to mention C.M. Nescosta's Morning Glory Milking Farm and Ruby Dixon's Barbarian's Bride, both authors that we've read here on What in the Smut. He did stumble over Taken by the Haunted HDMI Cable by Sin Lee, which is perhaps understandable given that he is not as inoculated against the weird as we are.
That confirms my belief that Stephen Colbert is such a smart man.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it before, but he's right. There's
Yeah.
thousands upon thousands of randy. That's amazing. Amazing, amazing.
Isn't it great? Now, I say that exposure helps, but not even the 33 previous weeks of reading weird erotica prepared me for the book we're talking about today. Okay?
Yeah, this one really would have made Stephen pretty speechless, I think. So this week we read Basted by Abby Hunter. So happy Thanksgiving season, everybody. Buckle up. A spicy time in the kitchen can include more than just seasoning. Thanksgiving is meant to be a joyous time of the year, but when I catch my boyfriend cheating, it's anything but. After watching that scumbag leave the restaurant with his side piece, I find comfort where I always do, with a hot, meaty meal. And then I meet him, Master Baster, and his two brothers, Pip and Jet. 3 turkey basters completely devoted to me. What more could a heartbroken girl ask for on Thanksgiving? Content considerations. Basted is a paranormal romance with a curvy FMC who finds love wherever she wants, and sentient turkey basters who won't quit until their new woman is theirs. I mean, there's not much more to say.
I mean, I agree. This was one of those that I picked up. This was pre What in the Smut.
Mhm.
And I remember at the time, because we were
You read this before.
I read this before. Yes. And I remember thinking at the time, because we were already in discussion about what this podcast could look like. And I was like, if we do this, we're going to need to eventually talk about this book. And I wondered when I pitched it last week to be our next book, if I was going to reread it a year-ish later and be like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I remember it being. No, it was just as bad as I remember it being. It was maybe worse than I remember, which is wild.
It's wild considering. You're right. Like, we become a little bit jaded to some of the weird. Like, things that I found outrageous in week 5, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's just another Tuesday.
Like, it's normal now. But this was hard to read.
That being said, it's been a while since we've had a level 5.
I know. And
I
boy, did this one deliver.
think that this is a level 5 on our smut scale. There is literally no plot.
Nah, this is an icky, sticky tangle of
turkey basters,
and tendrils. Not even. We got to get into it because, oh my God.
So there weren't really trigger warnings.
I don't remember seeing any.
It does say, though the darling female lead is using turkey basters for her pleasure, I strongly recommend that you do not use any kitchen items for anything other than their original purpose, especially with gravy. Or you might end up with something much worse than big, meaty babies.
And we'll get to that.
But there is the breeding kink in here.
Yes.
So in terms of triggers that we've talked about. There's the breeding kink.
Definitely breeding kink. I mean, gravy in places it shouldn't go. Food.
Food.
Food. Like, if you have anything close to an uncomfortable relationship with eating or food, I do not recommend this book at all. A cheating spouse or partner, rather.
Yep. There's a little bit of restraining, a tiny bit of breath play.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Like, a lot of references to drowning in gravy, like actually drowning and like choking on gravy. So like a lot of gravy. A weird amount of fixation on like potentially dying to cutting off your airway with liquid, which I was surprised by. And it takes a lot to surprise me these days.
Right? So, that being said, this did get a 3.1 on Amazon. I mean, solid middle ground here.
Yeah.
A little lower on Goodreads with a 2.7. Let's start off with a 5-star, though. From Amazon, it says, well, that's something I read. It has feeding, breeding, BDSM, cumflation, and reverse harem. So a little bit of something for everyone to either love or loathe. I do recommend it, though. So that that review gave us some more trigger warnings that we didn't really talk about.
True.
A 3-star from Amazon says, a meaty story, soak it in. Warning to those who are vegetarians, vegans, watching their cholesterol or sodium intake. This juicy, succulent little story is not for the faint of heart or those at heart risk. A woman's cheating ex leaves their relationship and a fabulous feast behind in his restaurant. Our heroine will drown her sorrows in this reverse harem romance between a lady and 3 sexy basters. Yep, food puns galore and lots of tasty, dirty talk. Enjoy the holiday season with this spicy tale that will make your mouth water in more ways than one. I mean, that reviewer is quite the writer, but no.
Huh? No. A 2-star from Goodreads. Do you have dirty thoughts about your turkey baster on Thanksgiving? Do you drink meaty broth by the gallons? Have you ever wondered what your baster could do to you if it were possessed by a sex god? If you answered yes to any of these, then this is the book for you. 'Twas not the book for me. And finally, oh, I could have written this. A 1-star. If I could give negative stars, I would. I have a high tolerance for sentient object romance, but this was actually horrifying. Why was this woman being tag teamed by a trio of sentient baster brothers, one of whom was named Master, who were talking nonstop about impregnating her and her having their baster babies? I am a no to breeding kink in general, but all I could think the entire time was the awful UTI she was going to have. Do not recommend, negative stars.
So that review was from last November, 2024. Did you write this one?
I am being advised by counsel not to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me. No, it wasn't me, but I do identify. I mean, we got it. We got to get into it.
So if we haven't scared you away yet and you do want to check out what this 69 pages of Turkey Baster Smut is all about.
I can't even say nice because it's not nice.
If you want to give Abby Hunter her page reads, go for it. Give us a pause, come back when you're finished. We'll be right here waiting for you. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So we start with the female main character, and it's always from her point of view.
Yeah, we don't get multiple perspectives.
Her name is Hazel.
Which we don't learn for a while.
Yeah. So it says, my boyfriend loved his food. That's why I dressed up as a curvy, sexy turkey, complete with a red frilled headband and feathery tail over a skin-tight patterned brown dress. So her boyfriend is the chef of a restaurant or the owner of a restaurant. So he loves food, but he body shames her frequently.
Yes, indeed.
Which is icky.
Everything about like the very little plot that we have here. Like, it's all in these first like 4 pages. It is thin at best, but it is wildly problematic and weird, all of it. So this is their 2-year anniversary. And Hazel wants to surprise her boyfriend with something special. He'd been distant the past few months, and she wants to bring the fire back into their relationship. So she spent an hour on her makeup, bought a special padded pumpkin bra, and went with no panties.
I want Hazel to drop the links on that pumpkin bra.
Same. I'm baffled by its existence. But the other thing that I found interesting is that their 2-year anniversary is on Thanksgiving. How does one start dating on Thanksgiving? How does that occur? Because, like, I don't know. I'm always with my family on Thanksgiving. There aren't single men around to potentially pick me up.
And if they are, it's like a cousin or something.
Yeah. How did this happen, Hazel?
Also, though, so maybe this was like the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, because that's a big, like, party night.
It is?
It's not for you? The Wednesday before Thanksgiving? I mean,
I'm still with my family.
So I feel like when I was younger, like that was when because everybody was still coming home from college or whatnot. So like everybody would get together and go out the night before Thanksgiving.
Sure.
So maybe it was the Wednesday before, and that's why the
Maybe.
restaurant was having a special Thanksgiving celebration. It does say I'd planned to join them, but I'd had so many of my students' papers to mark for Monday that I was stuck working until 10 p.m. I'm sorry, but any teacher on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, no, you're not grading papers. You're going out and you're getting drunk because you're like, I have 4 days off.
Right. Yes.
Not a chance.
It is one of those instances where we are digging and we should stop because there is nothing here. But like everything about this setup is bizarre to me because she gets to the restaurant after working until 10 p.m. And then it says she spent an hour on her makeup, but it says it took her half an hour to make sure she looked absolutely perfect and half an hour to drive to his restaurant to surprise him after work. So it is, fully midnight when you got to the restaurant? Why did you think anyone would still be here?
Yeah.
It says the front of the restaurant was lit, yet the curtains were closed up tight. I guess they were keeping the after party private. And it's just like, okay, but it's midnight. It's midnight and why are you here? Why are you here dressed like a turkey? Everything about this is weird.
Yes. Also, so she gets into the kitchen and it says I was momentarily distracted by the heavy metal baking trays on the counter to my left, which contained 3 thick hunks of meat. Steam spiraled from them, and I wondered if they had come straight out of the oven. It was like they were hot and fresh, waiting for me. Now,
Why is there hot food?
So we will find that they are, in fact, waiting for her. But, yeah, if it's midnight, why is there hot meat on the counter?
Like, it's been taken straight out of the oven. Like, it's a full, like, turkey, duck, and ham. Like, it's not like it's been picked over.
So she likes all of the smells and really wants to eat some of that food and then thinks, but I had to find my boyfriend before I could dig in, and I didn't want him to see me gorging on food like that. He hated it when I overate. His love of food was more about presentation and delicacy rather than stuffing himself until he couldn't move, which was kind of a mood killer, but I loved him, so I let it go. Don't let that go. If a man is going to shame you about your eating, goodbye.
Yes. Even if he weren't shaming you, but it was like such a distinct difference in lifestyles that like you couldn't eat together. It just like makes it difficult to like enjoy stuff together.
Yeah, I've ended things for that reason. Like I want dinner and you want to split a plate. I'm hungry. No way. We can split an app and then I'm going to eat my dinner.
So she's so tempted by the food that's sitting out, and she's been starving herself all week just to fit into her specially ordered turkey dress. One, that had to come off of Temu. Like, there's no world in which you should be starving yourself to fit into a dress you ordered on the internet.
And I mean, I love a theme outfit.
I was going to ask how you felt about this because I do think that of the two of us, you are more prone to a theme outfit. And I'm curious, have you ever dressed as a turkey for Thanksgiving?
No, but I considered ordering a turkey hat to wear for this episode. No, I love a theme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Thanksgiving is a theme dress holiday.
No.
Like Halloween, oh yeah, for sure. Christmas, give me an ugly Christmas sweater or something like that. But Thanksgiving is more of like a dress nice but cozy because you're about to stuff yourself and you don't want to feel uncomfortable after you're done eating. So yeah, no, I don't think that a turkey dress is in my future, but I'd never say never.
So Hazel manages to keep herself on track and decides she needs to investigate the light in the main restaurant area because she doesn't hear people. There are no voices coming from the dining area. And like everything kind of indicates that something is off. And then she hears the moaning and it says, "My brow creased as I pushed at the swinging door, my palm flat on the dull wood. A dark feeling took over me as I stepped through because I knew those moans. I'd heard those moans exactly 3 months ago when my boyfriend and I last had sex."
So 2 years of dating.
And you haven't had sex in the last 3 months.
Yeah, that's a sign that things are not going well. Frequently, that's a sign that the boyfriend is going elsewhere. Not always, but frequently.
Not always. We don't want to paint with a broad brush.
But that is the case now.
Certainly it is the case here.
The kitchen door is hidden from the rest of the restaurant, so she sees her boyfriend balls deep inside the hostess. Again, with the, not power dynamic, but the difference in position between the owner or head chef of the restaurant and the hostess, which is like that whole billionaire assistant kind of vibe going on there, which I don't like. But also, there were a lot of references throughout this whole book about yelling during sex, yelling and shouting, and it started here.
Right here.
She was yelling like a cat in heat, so neither of them heard my gasp of shock either.
Which, like, have you ever heard a cat in heat? That's not a sound you want to hear during sex.
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. Like, it's not a good description of the sounds a woman should be making during sex.
No. In this book, there should have been a lot more about moaning. I'd even take mewling, and we know that I don't like that word.
Oh, we get mewling, at least.
Do we?
Yes.
Okay. But there were a lot of, like, yelled and shouted, and I'm like, this is just a lot.
It's a lot of noise. But yes, Hazel is upset, obviously. She starts to cry. Pain swirled in my chest as he fucked the young, blonde, gorgeous woman without a single ounce of meat on her. I hated that she was basically every man's desire, and I hated how heat flooded me as I watched her come. She mewled so loudly I was sure people would hear her out on the street.
Okay, so we do get mewled very quickly after I said that. But so I am maybe not confused, but a little bit unsettled. About that. At the fact that her heart is being ripped out of her chest. This man that she's been dating for 2 years, she's watching him fuck another woman.
Yes.
And yet she's kind of getting turned on. I don't know. Like, I mean, that's a thing and that's fine. But like, we're getting conflicting feelings here.
Yes. And given, again, that this woman is yelling like a cat in heat, I don't feel like that would be particularly erotic to watch, frankly.
Like, you're not really walking in on like a porn scene here.
No. So I think the last like plot point that I take issue with here is she watches as her boyfriend finishes inside of the hostess with a satisfied groan. And he says, "Let's go home," to the hostess. And it was obvious he wasn't talking about the home we bought together last year. So, Hazel, explain this to me, because you start dating a man on Thanksgiving. And then within a year, you have purchased a house together with this man. And then within 9 months of the purchase, you've stopped having sex.
Yeah.
It's
not a healthy relationship.
It's wild behavior. Like, so she is 28. We
do get an age.
We do get an
I wasn't
age.
sure if we did. Okay.
Yes, because she says, what kind of 28-year-old goes around dressed as a sexy turkey anyway? And I'm glad she said it, because I was going to have to if she didn't. But that means that she started dating this man when she was 26, bought a house with him when she was 27, and then was already trying to salvage the relationship at 28. Like, girl.
Yeah, I mean, the first two aren't terrible.
Do not buy a house with a man you started dating a year ago. Absolutely not. What a terrible investment. Men cannot be trusted with that kind of commitment. Wait, unless your relationship is old enough to attend preschool, I don't want you investing any capital together. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
think of the men that you dated for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to have a joint mortgage with that motherfucker? I don't think so.
No. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I speak only the truth.
Here's the thing. Here's where all of my issue comes from. Okay.
Okay. All right.
My parents have been married for 41 years now.
Okay.
They got engaged a month after they met. So I have been ruined by my parents' relationship.
Yeah. Honey, I need you to know that's the exception and not the rule.
I know. Okay.
This is also, we're talking about a different time.
I know. Yeah. But this is where all of my
romanticism, romantic.
Yes, yeah. That's where it all comes from.
It is hard to argue with that, but
so thanks a lot, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, how dare you have a loving, lasting relationship? It's just unfair.
So anyway, yeah, also, does it say that he had said that he wasn't coming home? Because, like, if you own a house together and he lives there, like,
that would be weird.
Right? To just not come home.
It would be weird if your live-in partner did not come home. It says, maybe I'd get a text from him later telling me he was too busy with work and wouldn't be home tonight, exactly like he had every other Friday for the past few months. Where did you think he was sleeping?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, honey.
I know. I'm trying so hard because, like, part of me is just like, no, obviously he's a shitty human. Like, he is a shitty human. I'm not, that is not an issue here. But also, my darling, my sweet, naive summer child, how stupid can you be? And it is quite obvious as we go through the story, and not a single mention of friend or family to be found, even in the epilogue. Like, clearly, this woman does not have the besties that could tell her firmly and sadly to her face that, honey, your boyfriend is so obviously sowing his oats around town.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't pick up on the no friends or family. Granted, I mean, she could have them, but we're not going to get any other information about anything other than sex with some turkey basters for the next 58 pages.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We do get one last stab of betrayal that is heartbreaking, because she watches them leave and thinks maybe their affair had lasted long enough that they didn't care about being found out, or maybe everyone at the restaurant already knew about them and they had been whispering about it behind my back whenever I came to visit.
Which is likely.
The staff at restaurants know everything about each other.
Yes. So it's likely that they knew that it was probably like the worst kept secret in the restaurant. And there probably was either nobody that she was close enough with
Yeah.
to give her the information. And like, that sucks.
It does.
So they leave. They leave out the front and lock up. And she is left in the darkness of that front dining room.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes back into the kitchen and just cries. I wanted this Thanksgiving to be special. I mean, I understand that. Like, your whole world has just been rocked. I mean,
Absolutely.
were there signs? Yeah.
Were there waving red flags? Absolutely.
So typically, if I'm sad, I go for chocolate, maybe a glass of wine. But she looks at the counter, at least 12 feet long and 3 feet deep, practically groaning under the weight of the half-eaten Thanksgiving dishes spread across it. But amongst all the yams, dinner rolls, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce stuffing, there were 3 things which caught my eye.
I'm sorry. What the fuck? Because literally before her cheating ass motherfucker boyfriend leaves, the hostess asks, should we clear up the rest of the kitchen? And he says, forget about it. There's something else I want to eat more. Disgusting. But also, this is so wasteful. There's so much food here. I want to die.
It's gross.
And this is the end of plot as we know it because it says meat. So much meat. And the 3 trays had just been abandoned by my boyfriend, like everything else sitting in the kitchen.
Huh.
Sad.
A little.
I reach forward, running my fingers over the edge of a pan as I pull it towards me. Screw plates and knives and forks. I wasn't holding back when the huge turkey in front of me was waiting to be gobbled up. She reaches for the turkey. She wanted to rip strips off with her fingers and devour it like an animal, but it looked too dry. And it says, I wasn't exactly going to water it with my tears, so I leaned forward to pick up the black-topped baster sitting next to the turkey. Its bulb was sticky, and I kept my hand fixed on it as I slowly lifted it from the pan. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to read out loud.
So, as always, we get a size.
Of course we do. I have it highlighted because it just makes me want to die.
So this turkey baster was at least 11 inches long, its tip stretching past my elbow. The bulb fit perfectly in my palm with a thick nozzle to spurt juices all over the bird. Now, no.
Words are not necessary.
No. She's all like hot and bothered over these turkey juices.
It's worse because it's like, it says, I drew in a rough breath as I returned the tip to the pan. The only reason I was excited was because my pussy was still wet from watching my boyfriend fuck the hostess. Girl.
No.
What? What? It didn't have anything to do with the sucking sound the baster made as I squeezed its bulb.
So, I mean, this goes pretty perfectly with what we talked about with Nick last week with noises and whatnot. So, I mean, it says the thick, meaty juices surged into it, and I couldn't explain why my pussy throbbed at the sight. Now, think about,
this either.
I don't know if you've had a hand in cooking a Thanksgiving dinner, but some of the juices that like come off of a turkey, like that thick meaty juice, that's true. Like there's chunks of shit in there that like it's not just like a broth of some sort. Like there's things that come up into, and there's parts of the juices that get a little burned, so then you get like, no, it's not.
This is not like a prepared gravy.
No.
Like this is not like something that like you added flour to and like cooked into like a nice thick sauce. This is like the drippings from the bird as it cooked in the oven.
Yes.
Yuck.
I mean, delicious, but also I'm going to have a hard time with it this Thanksgiving.
Me too. It's It's an admirable effort, I will say, because
That's generous of you.
thank you. I'm doing my absolute best here. Abby Hunter is putting her entire skill set into making these descriptions as erotic as they can possibly
Yeah.
be. And it still doesn't work. Mostly because I feel like it is so uncomfortably erotic in its description that it shoots past, oh, this is hot because it's descriptive, and into, I'm so uncomfortable because it's so descriptive.
Yes.
So it says she raises the tip of the nozzle from the pan. So she's, squeezed the bulb and sucked up some juices. And it says, thick drops fell from the tip, splashing onto the turkey, running over its skin. I was captivated by their path, each bead sliding down every crevice to reach their goal of the sauce below.
I mean, that's great.
It's well described. I hate it so much.
This is not where I take issue.
Yeah, no, I'm just setting the scene. Like,
yes. So
this descriptive language, fine. It's gonna get so much worse.
I think my ultimate issue is that they don't ever really become being.
No.
Until the very end, and even then, we don't get that kind of description. So we get this, almost ghosty, spirity kind of you see the outline of it kind of thing, and it just,
There were some lines in here that led me to think, is this a psychological horror novel? And I would have been so impressed if it was
Did
actually.
she just crash out after seeing her boyfriend
Yes.
fuck another woman?
Yes. And some of the things said, and I have them highlighted and we can talk about it, but some of it felt like you could very easily turn this into a horror novel.
Yeah.
And it would work.
Yeah.
So it says, I didn't know why I was nervous, but my hand trembled as I clasped the bulb. And as she twitches and liquid spurts out, and it says, instead of landing on the turkey breast, the juices flew through the air and landed on my breasts instead.
And I clocked this as Elle's gonna hate this.
This is just the beginning. Frankly, but yes. I think my problem, and I have so many, but specifically in this instance, I already don't like when sex is described in food-like terms.
Okay.
I don't like the word delicious when describing eating someone out. That already feels weird to me. Feasting on me is not terminology that I particularly like.
Interesting. That doesn't bother me at all. See, I feel like delicious, it's you want to like the taste of your partner. So I don't mind it, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it has always made me a little bit uncomfortable because I don't like the idea of being a meal. It just does not work for me.
So has this been an always thing, or do you think it's gotten more so since we've had so many books that have involved food, or even if the monster romances have that kind of food taste to them? Do you think that this is something that's gotten worse, or has it always been that way?
I think it's always been that way, but I wasn't as acutely aware of it as I was during this particular read.
All right.
So she says that the juices are already seeping over the globes of my breasts like they had with the turkey. I took a needy gulp as they sunk into my deep cleavage, staining my dress and bra. Why did my boyfriend want to fuck someone like that hostess when my breasts looked so delicious? And we're gonna keep getting to that point. They're gonna talk about stuffing her and devouring her whole.
Yeah.
which sounds like a threat. I'm exceptionally uncomfortable by all of the food. And I don't think that I have a particularly fraught relationship with eating, like in general, but I might now.
So she starts like finger painting on her body with this
Yes.
gravy. I ran my finger down my crevice, coating it in meaty juice. Now, like, don't get me wrong. I understand that this is an 11-inch turkey baster. However, how are we getting, like, is your turkey dress made out of latex that it's not just absorbing into it? Why is there still so much liquid for you to be able to, like, there's like puddles. I don't understand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My hand went back to my breasts, eagerly scooping up the juices, totally coating my hand. This is off of one baster full of turkey gravy, essentially. Yeah. Now, she's drinking this from her cleavage, from the turkey baster. She's moaning
because she dented her fingertips into her tongue, fixing it to the bottom of my mouth as I sucked on my fingers. She's literally just yes. Yes. And then it says, a pulse beat through my pussy and my legs spread wide on top of the cold metal of the stool. I sucked harder, the meaty juices flowing over my tongue as I licked every drop I could reach. It's just her fingers right now.
Yeah.
Why would sucking harder get you more? Why would the juices flow?
So she puts the tip of the turkey baster back in the pan, pinches the bulb, and sucks up more juices. The higher it filled the nozzle, the more needy I grew, my desire so intense that even those few seconds of waiting were too much. Then she takes that and puts the tip of it into her mouth, and all I had to do was give the bulb a light squeeze and the juices came gushing out. I gasped in shock at the intensity of the flavor. Why? You were just drinking. Like, this is not, the flavors shouldn't be new.
Nope.
There's that.
Yep.
The longer the thick juices swam around my tongue, the more my body curved in response. I didn't want to swallow. I wanted my mouth filled to the brim with so much meaty fluid that I choked. Then she's trying to get more friction inside of her bra by like moving around and trying to rub her nipples on the inside of the bra. Okay, sure.
And then
Cue the TED Talk. Go ahead.
As I sucked on the nozzle, my other sticky hand slid downwards. I lifted the yellow frilled hem of my dress. My eyes fluttered closed as my fingers sped a path up my thighs to meet my pussy. The juices felt so insanely good on my breasts. What would happen if I touched my pussy with sticky fingers?
All right, Elle, what's going to happen?
Infection, yeast infections, UTIs galore. This is not, oh my God. Why would you want this? This is not sexy. This is not hot. This is just gross.
Yep.
It's just gross. Oh my God, please. You know why this is so much worse?
Why?
Because like in the other sentient object romances that we have read, I'm always like uncomfortable when they are made of food or what have you. Like Man Candy especially was like a little bit of a bridge too far for me. But at least with those instances, they are supernatural beings that are not real food.
Yes.
Like they are themselves not real food. Like there's some magic involved. The only thing supernatural on this counter is the basters. This is real food.
Yes.
This is just real ass food that came out of the oven. This is gravy.
Well, the gravy, yes, the basters are the supernatural element, but the gravy is what is.
I get that we're eventually going to be like, this is their cum. I hate it. I hate it so much. However, like, we're gonna get so many descriptions of like tipping out the pan and all of the liquid like spreading on the counter. And like, it's just the drippings from these different meats. It's just food.
So it's not, though, because the duck is like a red wine gravy. The ham has some kind of sweetness to it. So it's got like honey ham or something like that.
Even worse.
Yeah. Honey is antibacterial,
It
isn't it?
does not mean you should put it in your pussy.
So she continues with her hand,
Much to my dismay.
one hand on the baster bulb and one hand on her clit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she hears a low, hungry male voice say, "That's it, little bird." I hate an instant nickname.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about little bird?
I hate an instant nickname. She's dressed like a bird. I understand it, but I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So she starts to think that she's imagining things, but instead of like stopping and being like, what's happening, like a normal person would do, she pushes the baster further down her throat. The same voice hummed in my ears. "That's it. Suck me right there."
It was as if my hand was moving on its own. I was sure I'd sucked all the juices out, but more kept pouring into me. It was like an endless fountain of thick, meaty sauce. I choked as it filled my mouth with another shot, a weak moan sounding inside me.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's not good.
I don't think there's coming back from this.
So this voice is telling her to do it harder, let me go deeper. She's continuing to touch herself.
This is the thing that I was like, oh. I had this impending sense of doom in terms of like where we're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Sparks of pleasure that teased me with their light dances sped into warmth that flowed through my veins. It was the same heat as the rich sauce which slid easily down my throat, gathering in my stomach, filling the emptiness that had been growing inside me for months. I
mean, the writing is good.
I hate it so much. It's Abby Hunter is using her talents for evil, and I deserve compensation.
Oh, man. So she finally goes, "What's happening? Who are you?" And the voice says, "I'm Master Baster." Funny. "But you will call me Master, and the two basters right in front of you are my brothers, Pip and Jet." I looked to the wide pans in front of me. Another long baster sat next to the plump ham, the same size as Master, but with a gray bulb. The other one, filled with rich red wine gravy, was much smaller, about 5 inches, with a yellow bulb. Now, Pip, poor thing.
That's a perfectly reasonable size.
It is, but when you've got these giant things on either side of you,
Yes.
but you're right. It is a perfectly acceptable, comfortable, will work great size as compared to 11 or 12 inches. No, thank you.
And this is the first indication that we get of physical manifestation beyond the basters themselves.
Yeah.
It says, I felt new energies traveling around my body. They went over my neck, curling around my nipples, trailing up my thighs, and brushing over my pussy. The deep voice spoke again. We've heard your wish for Thanksgiving to be special, and we're here to provide. You're the perfect woman for us.
Ugh. So this is where we finally find out that her name is Hazel.
Uh-huh.
So it says, "We've seen how your boyfriend has treated you, Hazel. We've been waiting for someone like you. We need to show you how grateful we are that you can hear us. We're here to make your Thanksgiving dreams come true." So we've got Master Baster.
Master Baster has a deep voice. It's the sexiest voice she's ever heard.
Yeah.
And then Pip, we'll learn, is the lighter, kinder voice, conjuring images of tender rocking instead of the thrusts Master had given me. And finally, we have Jet.
And Jet is the comic relief.
And has a sharp and cutting voice that bounces around in her head.
So Jet says, "So you better get your mouth back on my brother's nozzle or you're going to make us all sad." It is funny to me, like, I'm just as disgusted as you are, but you get so much more so that it makes it funnier for me that I just egg it on. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, oh, oh." And then I'm like, "Oh, no, this is gonna be great because she's gonna hate this so much more than I am."
It's true. So we do get the stereotypical heroine of a sentient object romance going, was this really happening? Maybe I'd fallen asleep after gorging myself on turkey, and this was all just a dream. But unfortunately for everyone involved, including you and me, it's not a dream, and it's going to continue to get worse. It says the nozzle filled up again from the bulb end as it hovered in my hand. So she's just holding it and it fills with juices in front of her. So we've abandoned the pan, at least in the case of
Yes.
Master. And it squirted from the end of the nozzle straight onto my breasts all by itself. I gasped in surprise as the juice instantly spilled under my bra. There was so much that it filled up the padded cups and made the hard buds of my nipples even firmer in the pockets of steaming gravy. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I just
No, I don't want the pads of my bra to be hot and wet.
I'd prefer hot and wet over cold and wet, but also
Fine, a minimal improvement because it's gonna get cold and wet the longer that it sits here.
that's true. That's where I take issue too, is that like it would either need to be super hot for that to feel nice, but then it's pretty immediately gonna cool down.
And just get sticky
And
and gross. And we know how I feel about sticky.
so we do get, I moaned so loudly that I choked around Master's baster. I mean, it's clever, but it's also criminal. So instead of little bird, like Master has been calling her. Also, the Master thing is not my bag. And I know that that's a dynamic. I do not particularly care for that dynamic. So there's that. But then also, so he was calling her little bird. Jet calls her pretty chick. I don't like the nicknames.
It continues.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my hand up from my pussy, scooping more juices from my breasts. Even though I was sopping wet, I needed the magic passion conjured by the baster juices. One more stroke to my clit with my juicy fingers, and my eyes rolled.
So, okay, I understand that she's very turned on right now, and that's great. Good for her. But this is a lot of maneuvering that she has to be doing to herself in order to get to that point while she's got these voices in her head telling her what to do. So the fact that she is able to come so quickly is quite honestly impressive, because couldn't be me.
Certainly not. Also, like, a baster, while I understand the general phallicness of it all, that just does not seem like a pleasant...
Oh, it's kind of pointy.
Right?
Like, and if you're shoving something like that either down your throat or
up your pussy, yeah.
Like, you got to be careful. You want it to be more blunt than what it actually is.
Yes. I mean, I pumped the baster in and out of my mouth. It was so hot and he glided inside me so perfectly. The smooth funnel of the plastic made it easy to receive him, and the wet slide of his meaty juices was like heaven on my tongue. But like that... And like, I'm already kind of like...
That's going to get clipped.
I'm sure.
Because that was perfect.
I feel like the sexiest thing about a blowjob for me, for giving one to a partner, is like getting their sounds and like the joy of making them feel good.
Yeah.
That is the sexy erotic part. And just the act of shoving something in my throat that's not a turn on for me personally. So it is wild to me that she's like so turned on by like pushing him back inside of her far enough that the tip hit the back of her throat.
Again, that's dangerous.
Pointy.
Yeah. So as she comes, he was so far inside me that I couldn't make a sound. He kept pouring and pouring until I was spluttering and gagging. I was sure my stomach would overflow with his juices, and I was so grateful to be stuffed this Thanksgiving. Now, sometimes a man likes if you gag.
Yeah.
I think it makes them feel big. I think that's really I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why.
I'm just I this feels like a perfect dichotomy of like K-isms where it's just like I like to feel small
And
and
a man
he
likes to feel big.
I am
Yeah.
dead. I am dead. Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. He
So,
likes to feel big.
but like, there's a fine line between gagging and like almost aspirating on turkey gravy.
Yes. I'm not pleased about this.
So apparently, though, this was a life-altering orgasm for her.
Indeed.
They all asked her to strip. Again, this is where I'd have less of a problem if they turned into men and their dicks were just turkey basters.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be okay with that.
I mean,
It'd
we've
be
had
weird.
hammer dicks.
Yeah, it'd be weird, but not
Mhm.
past the realm of what we've experienced so far.
True.
So, like, I would be okay with that. So when she says they'd ask me to strip, no, you just got naked by yourself in the kitchen.
Yes. I don't know. Like a kitchen is just not a place that I want to have sex.
Specifically an industrial kitchen.
Yeah, like I in an industrial kitchen, and we're gonna get like descriptions of like the pots and pans hanging above them and like all of the metal surfaces of the kitchen and
Yeah.
like
It's cold.
yeah, but I just like this just does not sound comfortable. Like I'm a pillow princess in every interpretation of those words. I need soft and cozy.
Oh my god. So I'd put Master's baster back in the turkey pan when I stripped, but I couldn't take my eyes off of the three of them. It was like they were waiting for me to move. With their big bulbs throbbing, their nozzles lay in the unique sauces covering the bottom of the pans. I don't know, the throbbing bulbs doesn't do it for me. When she took her bra off, heavy lines of gravy escaped from the pools that had formed in the cups. Like I'm picturing not just like the turkey drippings, but like like brown gravy.
I'm so uncomfortable.
So now they're with her moans and her getting off on the turkey basters is giving them more power.
Yes.
Which now she can hear their voices out loud and not just in her head.
Yep.
So she bends over the counter. I don't know where they ended up because they, as far as I knew, were on a pan still. And if she's leaning over the counter, they're really just getting a view down her. I don't really know.
I don't either because it says, "You look so perfect like that," Jet said, as I felt something writhe over the curve of my back. "Look at your meaty ass. I'm going to pour myself straight over you as soon as I get up there," which would imply that he's not up
But
there.
this is where we kind of get the tendrils, right? That was what they talk
Yeah.
about with tendrils. And this gives me like a ghost kind of vibe.
I don't mind that. I feel like that could have worked.
It's creative for sure. I just didn't love it. Like I don't know. I wanted them to just be this fully formed being, whatever that might look like, versus the like,
Yes.
I'm getting an outline of them, but like, I don't know. It's like seeing auras or something instead.
Yeah, I agree. So she's bent over the metal counter.
Yep.
And then Master says, "Grab my bulb, little bird. You know what I want."
So Master's been getting all of the attention so far.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that tracks if he goes by Master.
I suppose so. It says, my body hungered for his taste. I wanted it dripping over my tongue again, but Master and I needed more than that. And I was like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It was inevitable. We knew it was happening. We knew that this was exactly where we were headed.
You can't have 3 basters and not have them eventually.
Insert.
However,
I was going to say,
surprise.
there wasn't any double penetration.
Nope. There wasn't. I mean, there was no
ass play at all, I don't
nope,
think.
no gravy went up there.
Which,
Safer
why bother
options,
having,
to be honest.
maybe,
Why have
but why
3?
bother having 3 of them?
Well, because we learn what Pip's actual purpose is in a bit.
Sure, but like, purpose is a strong
Well, for
word.
what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Maybe I just take issue with his purpose because I hated it so much.
Perhaps. So she adjusts the tip of Master's novel, angles him upwards, and then
I couldn't believe I was going to do it, but my body was already soaked and the juices sticking to my skin were driving me wild. There was no way I couldn't do it. And I was like, I hate it.
So this is where she gets the real understanding of his tendrils. She says, is that your hand? And he says, you can feel me, can't you? It's one of my tendrils. As soon as I get stronger, I'll touch you as much as you'd like. Pip is like cheering from the sidelines. What does it feel like to have our brother all the way inside you? It wasn't just an inch-wide nozzle entering me. There was another force shifting against the walls of my pussy. I can appreciate this. Yeah.
That's too thin and narrow.
Yes. Yeah.
And no.
So that I can appreciate that though, because like, the size of a turkey baster is only like an inch or so.
Yeah.
So
at its widest point, like towards the bulb end.
Yeah. So I can appreciate that the tendrils or whatnot are making it thicker for her.
Sure. But it is going to get absurdly thick.
Yeah. I think it says 4 inches at one point.
4 inches wide.
Yeah. That's
too much. Like,
that's bigger than 10 centimeters. That's
bigger than a Coke can.
Yeah, but that's bigger than a baby head.
I didn't need that visual. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, of things that are supposed to come out or go in,
It's a little too big. So she squeezes his bulb. He says, do it as hard as you can now. Make me spray all over you. She nearly slipped from the counter, losing her balance as his juices shot out. So that was gross. Master says, you're feeding us. The more we pleasure you, the easier it is for us to take form. Each time you moan for us, it makes us stronger. So that's great. But this is where we start to get some of the yelling, I think.
This is also where the breeding king comes in.
Yes. So Jet says, we're going to fuck you so hard you'll be a mess by the time we're finished with you. And Master says, because you're the perfect woman to carry our children.
Uh-huh.
Plural.
Yep.
Now, fun fact about dogs.
I am so not ready for whatever you're going to say next. Please continue.
Did you know that a female dog can get pregnant from more than one male and have the same litter?
Yes.
This is essentially what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
She's going to end up pregnant with all 3 of their babies.
Yep.
But they're each going to get genes from each of the specific gravies.
What in the actual smut? Your body is so fine that we know you can carry our meaty babies. We'll stuff you so full that you'll be brimming with our juices.
Yep. So she says that's too much. And Pip says it has to be that way. We need to tenderize your pussy so you're nice and soft and can absorb all our juices. I don't like that. For a multitude of reasons. 1, if she's saying that's too much, you need to pull back.
Correct.
2, Tenderize your pussy is so gross.
It's so gross. That's why it starts to feel like they're actually gonna eat her. So she begs them for more, and it says, half me, half Jet's tendrils. I grabbed the pan filled with the roasted ham. The high square edge tipped forward, upending the pan, and suddenly the whole counter was flooded with juices. As soon as it seeped under my breasts, I dropped my head, lapping at the puddle. It says, suddenly a force shoved me downwards as he rubbed my face in his juices. I tried to breathe, but my nose and mouth were flooded with his intoxicating scent. I whimpered, drowning instead of swimming in the meat juices, and there was only one way out.
Yeah, I didn't like this. I don't know, the
This is
pressure.
basically waterboarding.
Gravy boarding.
Yeah. All three of them moaned as I slurped up Jet's fluids. I spluttered and choked as I swallowed, but I was suffocating in juices and desire.
Yeah, I didn't like it. But she
No.
did.
Yes.
Master's juices splashed around my ankles as they slipped from my pussy, spiraling down my legs in thick strands as he kept pouring himself into me with each thrust. So we've got a puddle on the counter
Mhm.
of ham juice. We got a puddle
have a
on the
puddle on the
counter.
floor.
On the floor of turkey juice. And
Uh-huh.
poor Pip.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pip, he says, I can hear our juices splashing inside you. But if we can hear it, it means you're not full enough.
Now, this gave me a visual that I did not consent to. You know when you, drink too much water
Yes.
and then you move around, you can, hear the
Yes,
liquid
the
sloshing
sloshing.
around in your stomach? That was what that immediately brought me to, and I did not like it.
No, that's not sexy.
No.
Jet says you need to do more than that, pretty chick. We need you leaking from every hole. Which, again,
Not every hole.
we're not going to get every hole. It's bizarre that I'm sitting here left wanting more because I don't want more. However, this feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. So, as always, we get come for us, and she does. You're right.
Well, it's because Master's thickness pulsed, stretching her walls further than she ever thought possible. It had to be at least 4 inches wide now.
Yeah.
She shouted into the empty kitchen as Master filled the only place which mattered. The noises I made were inhuman, grunting, gasping, screaming, the squelching sounds of my tight pussy with each movement of Master's nozzle and tendril had us all groaning.
Yeah. So, yuck. This is where we start to get lots of shouting, and they're gonna all yell, and it just is like, why? I get being loud, that's fine.
Mhm.
But all I could picture was just yelling. So then I couldn't stop coming
Uh-huh.
as Master poured all of himself into me. And she says, I want your babies, I sobbed. Give me more, Master. Let me have your babies. This is a really quick turnaround from about 25 minutes ago, seeing your boyfriend fucking another woman.
Yep.
To give me your babies, you
Uh-huh.
kitchen utensil.
And then it says that she looked up to Pip in his pan and caught sight of her face in the polished metal splash guard. They had completely messed me up. With my plump lips, my rosy cheeks, and my glazed eyes, I looked so sexy that my pussy clenched. What really set me off was the way my wet hair clung to my face. Patches of meaty fluid coated my skin, along with the silky bulge of my breasts and the way I was lying in a pool of their sticky juices. It was the sexiest thing I'd ever done.
I mean, some people are into that. She lost me at the meaty fluid. Also, like, hair plastered to the side of your face is more of the drowning rat look versus the but you know what? People find you attractive when you find yourself attractive and have confidence. So that is great for her. I'm so happy for her thinking that she is the sexiest that she's ever been, because that exudes the confidence that she needs to make these little meat babies.
And that's all we have to say about that. Mhm.
Also, there's a lot of discussion about hitting and stroking her cervix,
Oh, yeah.
which is not pleasant. That's
No.
not, it's a very sensitive area, and not in a way the good kind of sensitive.
No.
It's
No.
painful.
It is. After this, they encourage her up onto the table
Mhm.
and they place her flat on her back, strung up like a Thanksgiving turkey. The longer we made love, the stronger their touch grew, so their rippling limbs could hold me.
So those tendrils are becoming a little more.
Corporeal?
Yeah, that's the word. I was trying to.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Jet's shadowy tendrils spiraled around my thighs, securing my ankles to my ass.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the worst thing that's happened so far in these 37 pages that we've traversed up to this point.
So she's like, "How are you doing this? I
Huh.
thought you were just basters." So we're gonna ask this question now, but okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Master says we're so much more than that. The more you feed us, the easier it is for us to move around. We've never had a real shape before. We've desired nothing so strongly that would make us want to be more than kitchen basters. So we do get information that, like, they knew who she was. They had seen her coming in and out of the restaurant. They knew that the boyfriend was a cheating bastard, all of that. We're also getting more information about how, like, the scents and colors of the tendrils. This is like that whole, like, sounds like aura reading to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're just seeing the haze of color, I guess.
She's laying there and Jet's like saying, "We knew as soon as we saw you that you'd be able to handle our juices." Softness flowed inside me as I melted under them again. I opened my mouth to reply, to tell them that their basters were all I needed now. We've been here for like 45 minutes, hun. Like, this is all you need now? But then it says, my attention was ripped away from him by a harsh push against my pussy. And she shouts, "Jet," as he blew a shot of juices on my clit with a laugh. And this was where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this
And
book.
yet you read it twice.
I know. I notched my chin forward and my breasts almost blocked my view of him. And it was the same for my belly. My stomach was so full of Master's juices that it had swollen slightly too. It was as if my body was showing me what I would look like if I were really pregnant.
I mean, in the early stages of pregnancy, you can look pregnant and really you're just bloated. So, like, essentially that is the case here. She's just very bloated from the amount of liquid that's in her body. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Stomach and pussy. Like, this is so bad for you.
Think about all the sodium, too.
No. She's going to have a heart attack. She's not going to be able to carry meaty babies to term. She's going to die.
What is the term for meaty babies?
There isn't. I mean, it's 9 months, apparently.
It is, and we'll learn that in just a little bit. Let's try to learn that sooner rather than later.
The worst part is you're absorbing our juices better than we could have imagined. Look how moist and succulent your skin is. I was like, they're going to eat her alive. I would prefer it if this were a horror novel.
So she cries out as Jet's tip suckered over my clit, trapping me completely. Honestly,
I don't mind the suction on the clit.
suction. Yeah, no.
That would be good.
One of the best parts of this book, I think.
Yeah. The bar's pretty low though.
So she's giving attention to Pip, and then Master takes away that attention by twirling her nipples with the end of his tendrils. He says, "We need you to tell us how much you want it." And she says, "How can I tell you anything more? You're all making me feel like the most special person in the world. How could I want anything more than that?" You don't feel special. You feel horny. I suppose the two could be confused when you've had attention withheld.
Yes, for so long.
But no. And she
Mm.
says to Pip, "I don't care which hole you're in as long as you give me your juices. Make sure you fill me up. I don't ever want to forget this."
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he has a red wine gravy.
The second Pip gathered himself and squirted it on my tongue, I came with a deep shout.
Again, why are we yelling so much?
Your pussy is leaking so much that I can't tell which are your juices and which are ours.
Yep. Kind of like that. We're getting more from the tendrils. Pip's baster blocked my view, but I could feel Jet's tendrils creeping over my stomach down the V's of my thighs. I gasped as thin digits spread the lips of my pussy. Okay. She says, "I wished I could hold their bodies. I wanted to give them even more power so I could do something like wrap my legs around Jet and get him to thrust into me or grab Pip's hip so he would bury himself further into my throat." This is one of those things where it's like, yeah. I can understand that. Like, this is almost like you're just dealing with a toy by yourself.
Yeah.
I can understand wanting them to be more of
Corporeal.
a physical being. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
So
Oh, no.
it does say Jet yelled as he released his first flush of pink juice inside me. And this was when I was like, there's a lot of yelling happening. So I have that highlighted. And in my head, I was just picturing Steve Carell going, "Kelly Clarkson!" Like, just yelling out words. Like, this is where the yelling got to in my head for me because it started to just really, like, I think the first or second time I didn't notice it as much, but then when every time, like, why is he not moaning? A moan would be so much better, or like a growl or something like anything other than yelling, where it's just making me think of Steve Carell getting waxed.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. And then she wants to take Pip and he asks, "Are you going to let me use you? Because as I fuck your throat, the stronger I become. And the stronger we get, the more we can fuck you. Isn't that just perfect?"
So Master says, "Relax, little bird. You might not be able to take my 12 inches, but I know you'll be able to take all of his 5. And what a burn.
I know. God damn. There's some sibling energy here that we have yet to unpack.
But again, 5 inches is fine.
It's fine.
Perfectly acceptable.
Desirable even in the range. And then it says, I gasped as Master let another tingling drop splash onto my nipple as he asked, "Can you feel that? These special juices are just for you. They'll make your breasts swell so you can feed our babies."
Mm-hmm.
And then Jet's laugh cut through the haze created by Master's juices. "It won't be milk or juices pouring out of your nipples when you feed our babies. It will be cream sauce."
I also have that highlighted. I mean, clever, I guess. Make it a little different.
This is like the monkey's paw of wishing for monster cum to taste good. It's like, this is the inverted awfulness of that, where it's like lactation of the woman tastes like something else. And I hate it.
Also, there's been far too much lactation popping up in this podcast in the past month. Like, it doesn't typically come up quite as often in romance novels as it has in the past couple of weeks. If you're just joining us
for this episode, we swear we don't normally talk about lactation quite this much.
So, one thing that threw me off.
Only one?
Well, I mean, I don't know. So she asks Jet about how many tendrils he has, and he says, "I'll have as many as you want me to." And then he
Mhm.
says, "I can bundle you up in a sexy little egg and soak you so you'll keep
Yes.
coming until I say you can stop if that's what you want." How does that sound, pretty chick?
Yeah.
What does that mean, bundle you up in a sexy little egg?
I have no idea. I have no idea what that could possibly mean.
I mean, so you'll keep coming until I say you can stop. Again. Okay.
Prove it, motherfucker.
Do it, you won't.
Yeah. So Pip is fucking her throat still. Hazel, Hazel, your throat feels amazing. Hazel, please swallow for me, please. If he had a face, I knew it would be scrunched up in pleasure, and I wanted to be the one to ruin him. Master then says, I can see him sliding into you. Your throat expands so prettily each time you take him. What if I do this?
Yep.
And then he chokes her,
Yep.
which would be extremely dangerous if you had a turkey baster in your mouth. I don't like it.
So I feel like with the three of them, we're getting Dom vibes from Master, obviously. We kind of get Switch vibes from Jet.
Yeah.
And then Pip is very submissive.
Yes.
So it's an interesting dynamic with the four of them.
Yes. Here's where I reached a point where I was like, no, I think this is going to be a psychological horror. I think they're actually going to murder her and eat her.
I think I know what quote you're going to give us right now. In fact,
I mean, there's a healthy page worth of this.
interesting word choice.
Yeah, fair. I don't like my own word choice. It says, look at how round and swollen your belly is. It's like you're already carrying our children. And she looks down at herself and it says, my belly was totally engorged. It was stretched so tightly that I could see paths of veins crisscrossing over translucent skin. There was so much juice filling my stomach and womb that it was like I'd swallowed a soccer ball. And then Pip says, it says, you took so much of us, Pip sighed as he rubbed the globe of my belly. Aren't you such a good girl for keeping all our juices inside you?
I didn't love this good girl.
No.
Now, when you're actually pregnant, one of your loved ones like rubbing your pregnant belly, okay, fine. Not everybody, strangers get away. But when it's really just that your belly is like distended from
Yes.
the amount
From
of
all of the liquid in
fluid,
it?
like
The
that's
fuck?
got to be uncomfortable.
So Jet says, I think we should reward you with some more. And she says, can I even take more? Jet says, well, we can keep filling you until you pop. Or maybe you'll just absorb it all and be a meaty feast for us to devour.
That is the line that I also had highlighted of like, ooh,
This is not sexy.
no, it's not.
Pop? Pop?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But again, she's gonna shout and she asks them if they're gonna come home with her then. So apparently she's already kicked her boyfriend out
Somehow.
because she's already bringing other men home. Because he's out for the night, so she's gonna bring them home with her. Jet says, you can't get rid of us now, not when we're filling you like this. And Master goes, and there's no way you're having our children without us.
Uh-huh.
So the way that they make sure that she is pregnant with their children
Uh-huh.
is by continuing to fill her up. And then Pip says, I have to plug you up and stay inside you. If we do it tonight, the magic of our meeting can be preserved, and you want that, don't you, Hazel? So basically, Pip's 5 inches is going to be inserted
Fully.
fully.
Bulb and all.
Yep, like a plug.
Uh-huh. And then it says, that's so great. That's so perfect, Hazel. If I stay inside you, I can keep pumping you full of our juices until I know that you're pregnant.
It also says make sure you get him all the way up inside you so he's safe against your cervix. Again, not pleasurable, but okay. She does say I could keep you inside of me forever. It feels so right with you inside me like this. That's great. So it says that they keep fucking her until the clock above the counter shows 3 a.m. So like I thought he was plugged her up. How are they continuing to keep fucking her? But okay. So she puts her dress back on. How it fits her after she's is engorged. I was gonna say, is that the right word? But apparently, because that's what you came up with also.
and it's sticky and soaked.
Yeah.
Her dresses.
But otherwise, she's naked. She's not going to walk the streets nude.
No. I mean, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing she's done this evening.
That's true.
Okay. So they're leaving. So she's leaving the kitchen and she says, if fucking me fed them, I couldn't wait to see what they would be like in months' time after we'd been fucking nonstop. Because now I'd had a taste of baster sex. I never wanted to give it up. My ex said he would clean up the kitchen, so I'd leave all our juices here as a punishment, along with my turkey headband. Maybe he'd guess what we'd been up to, but how would anyone believe me if I told them I had spent hours making love to the 3 sexiest basters I had ever met? What the fuck do you mean maybe he'd guess what we'd been up to?
Like, he would maybe recognize your headband in there and be like, oh, fuck, she came in and saw me and then just fucked up the kitchen.
I mean, maybe, but also this was a specially purchased surprise outfit, so he might not even know that's your headband.
That's a good point. But you skipped over the part that when she's packing up her things to go, she took a box from the kitchen and filled it up with as much of the leftover meat as she could. So she is full, but still taking home the leftovers.
She swiped a cylinder storage container and poured out all the remaining juices into it, combining their 3 flavors into a delicious soup. I couldn't help but take a deep sip before I slipped it into my bag.
Yeah.
Also, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know why she feels the need to sneak them out.
Because they're basters. It's not like...
Yeah. What does that mean? I couldn't just stuff Master and Jet into a bag. Why not? First and foremost. So I tucked them inside my dress, their nozzles under the wire cups of my bra.
Yeah.
How?
So I can't put them in a bag, but I'll put them in my bra instead.
She takes them home and it says, as soon as I got home, I ran to the bathroom, throwing myself into the empty bath. I spread myself out for them, making sure to capture their juices as they plugged all my holes. We spent days making love, and they grew stronger with every hour that passed until we woke up in bed on the 1st of December with their tendrils wrapped around me, my belly full of their juices, and 3 children forming in my womb.
So, did they spend several days fucking in the bathtub? Because it sounds messy. Hope they have one of those like splash blankets on the bed.
And then, of course, true to form,
yep,
the epilogue is 1 year later and she's not pregnant.
No, she's got babies.
She's got babies.
They have a new house.
Mm-hmm.
A gurgle came from my lap, and I looked down at my son clasped against my right side. He grinned up at me, his turkey-colored skin beautiful next to the pink skin of his brother, who sat in the middle of my lap. In my left hand, I clutched my red wine-colored baby girl. Okay, so they're 3 months old. They're not grinning up at you. They're not sitting up. There's a lot wrong with holding three months olds. They are wiggly, and that's not safe.
No.
Now, the basters had become corporeal since she brought them home, and now they could move easily throughout the house and do things like cook meals, clean, and rock our children to sleep. We don't get, though, that, like, are they human form?
Oh, it gets worse. It says they were each the color of their meat juices. and Pip's juices rippled inside his body as he stepped toward us in a mesmerizing mirage of meat-flavored liquid preserved inside whatever form he chose, which at the moment was the vague outline of a human, no eyes or nose or mouth, but bold tendrils spiraling from his torso. It was how they usually appeared in the house. That is fucking horrifying.
So the only thing I could think of with this, have you ever seen the movie Monsters vs. Aliens?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Like the blue glob guy
Yes.
is all I could think of with these. Like, make them be men.
Just make them be men. Just make them be men.
Even if you want to make them be men with their skin color, the color of their gravy, fine. Just make them be men.
Another horrifying detail. It was a joy to wake up each morning surrounded by my loving basters and cuddling our children. I had to bathe them in cream sauce each morning to make sure they stayed fresh.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Also, are you creating this cream sauce on the stove? Or
are you lactating it? Are you lactating enough to make a bath for 3 babies?
Are we incorporating that into some water just to give them, like, because you can do like a breast milk bath with babies to like help with their skin and stuff. So like, sure, but also no. No.
No.
So we end with them all settling in together for a family picture with her, the 3 men blobs,
And the 3
and their 3 babies.
weird-colored babies.
And that's how we end.
Go ahead, Kay. How would you rate this one?
This is solidly at a 1 for me. There was a lot. It was 6 chapters of just a sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, is fine, but, like, I would have liked a lot more plot.
Uh-huh.
A lot less description of gravy.
Yeah.
This would have been better, I don't know, if it was, like, one of those 15-pagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It went on for so long.
it literally was 6 chapters of their just one sexual encounter.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so overwhelmed by this experience. I agree with a 1 star. I think it was commendable how good the writing was. I think part of why it was so horrifying for me was because the writing was so good and so descriptive. Like, it would not have been half as just like disgusting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If it weren't so beautifully described.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely, the description, this was definitely a show, not tell.
Oh, yes. So credit where credit is due. The writing did its job, but I did not need to be here for it, I don't think.
Twice.
So I'm so curious who you cast for this story. Huh?
So for Hazel,
Yes.
I cast Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
A couple reasons. One, she's curvier. She's on the curvier side. But also, I feel like she enjoys roles that are kind of ridiculous.
I agree.
So I feel like she might be okay with being cast in this role. I did go so far as to cast Master Jet and Pip.
Oh my fucking God.
I Googled turkey baster set, and there was a 3-pack from Walmart.
Perfect.
So I also added a nice little turkey basting photograph in there, which I will add onto our socials at some point when this comes
Great.
out.
I'm so glad.
What a ride.
What a ride. What are we reading next week?
So next week, we're going to continue. It's still the month of November. We're going to continue with our seasonal Thanksgiving books with Free Use Thanksgiving by April Cross and Matt Lake. I think that this will be an interesting one with that whole free use dynamic. We did get to listen to that free use 24/7 free use couple had a kind of Q&A session at Smut Lovers. So we did kind of get an inside look at some of what their relationship entailed, and they can all be different. So I'm interested to see the conversation that we will have about this book next week.
Me too. Are you reading anything outside of the podcast?
I need a brain cleanse after that one. So I'm not currently, but yeah, I need to pick something else up to kind of get me back on track.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you? Anything?
I've been traveling and haven't really had the time. I hope that no one saw me on the plane as I was reading this book, because I'm sure that my face fully broadcast exactly what I was feeling in that moment.
Yeah, you do have a tendency to let your emotions be written all across your face.
Like we have said, we listen and we don't judge, but my face didn't ever get that memo. So
well, if you've made it this far, and
we appreciate you.
We truly appreciate you if you made it this far today. But don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, leave some comments on our social media posts. And with that,
we are at our wits' end.
We'll see you next time.
Was that as good for you as it was for me? You have been listening to the What in the Smut podcast with Elle and Kay.